America prepares to face attack on its cities and industrial centers under a combined civilian defense program. Any community is vulnerable to possible bombing, including the final threat of the devastating atom. A screen of Air Force units goes into action to protect our borders from the unannounced arrival of the enemy. The enemy who apparently knows no mercy and who has signified his intention to conquer the world under the banner of communist imperialism. All over the nation, civilian defense crews are alerted to prevent the annihilation of areas vital to our industrial mobilization and our very life. Central communication systems and personnel are being readied for any possible emergency. These are the potential nerve centers through which will flow the messages to coordinate the protective measures for United States citizens. Shelter zones are being established and marked with directive signs. Commanders are being briefed in panic prevention, control of sabotage and espionage. Chemical and germ warfare are subjects in the course, as are organization, high explosives, communications, and atomic bomb destruction. If a bomb strikes, officials will be able to map the radius of the destruction. With the technical data at their disposal, they will direct civilian defense workers to the aid of those in peril or those who might have already suffered the all-out effects of an all-out enemy attack. Hospitals will place their facilities at the disposal of the injured, and Geiger counter experts will test patients and areas for possible atomic contamination. President Truman signs the Federal Civil Defense Act of 1950 in the presence of officials concerned with civilian protection. The President congratulated Congress on its speedy passage of the program, which will provide matching grants to the states for construction of air raid shelters and the stockpiling of medical supplies and suitable warning systems. In the President's own words, it will require all of us to get ready to defend our homes.
Conrad alert, off the air.
Hey, Bill, Conrad, shut it off. Conrad alert.
The primary purpose of the presidential order of December 10, 1951, was to minimize the use of radio broadcasts as a navigational aid to hostile aircraft or guided missiles. Conrad does this.
Conrad.
For information
Do you hear
as
that?
to how this essential
We might as well give
safeguard
up without
works,
a fight the way
we
they
take
got
you now
us shaking
to
in our
Dayton,
boots.
Ohio.
There wouldn't be any enemy bombers if it weren't for them damn Reds.
Our guests
We
today
saved
are
from
the
Hitler.
best
How do they pay us
qualified
back?
men in the country.
They steal the damn bomb right from under our noses.
Would you please be quiet, Lou? I'm trying to watch the television.
Atomic bombs aren't enough for the blood-sucking
Father's
bomb.
watching the news.
Atomic mouth, that's what they've done. If Ike had any nerve, he would have hit him 6 years ago when they couldn't hit back.
Shut up and
I
write
love
your
you, baby.
congressman, Lou.
Oh, I would if he could read.
What did you say,
He's a
Walt?
Red, too, if you ask me. McCarthy's the only
Said I
one
love
that
you.
a lot, if you ask
And
me.
Mr. Les Kronberg.
You
Hey,
do?
turn that television set back on.
Really?
Knock it off, Lou.
I'll
I'm
marry
turning
you.
this television set off. Every time I
And-
want to
What?
watch a television
And
set,
get
you
away
always
from
got
that
so
set.
much to say.
I'm
I can't
warning
I
you.
think
said I want to marry you.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Run all night, run all day. That's my money on my steel bag. Somebody bet on the bed.
Walter, you're not marrying me because you think you have to.
Betty. Betty.
We interrupt our regular programming for a test of Conrad.
Does it show?
Conrad has been developed.
It's a little
to
late to
enemy
worry
radio
about that
guidance
now.
Systems in the event of an attack.
Walter, I
to
love
repeat,
you.
this is only a test of Conrad.
Thank you.
and to take other measures that will be effective at an early date to save millions of lives if needed. In the event of an attack, the lives of those families which are not hit in a nuclear blast and fire can still be saved if they can be warned to take shelter and if that shelter is available. We owe that kind of insurance to our families and to our country. In contrast to our friends in Europe, the need for this kind of protection is new to our shores. But the time to start is now.
Ready, boys.
In the coming months, I hope to let every citizen know what steps he can take without delay to protect his family in case of attack.
Timmy,
I
your mother
know
called you
that
for
you
dinner.
will want to do no less.
Your father must be having a kitten over this Berlin thing.
Oh, that reminds me. I got a letter from Mother today. She says Dad's got the cellar stocked with a 2-week supply of food.
Eat your meal, Timmy.
The cellar? You gotta be kidding. He's wasting his time stocking the cellar. In an attack, the whole house will fall right on top of him.
What do you know about it?
I read the papers. Believe me, from what they say, if Khrushchev pushes the button, no cellar's gonna save anybody.
Timmy, eat your supper.
I can't.
Why not? Don't you feel well?
Are we gonna get blown up?
Walter, now look what you've done.
What did I do? You're the one that brought it up.
Just keep quiet, Walter. Timmy, nobody's gonna get blown up. Mommy promises.
Don't let him talk to your father.
Keep out of this, Walter. Timmy, everybody's afraid, but there's nothing we can do about it.
There's no sense starving yourself to death, Tim. If we gotta go, it might as well be stuffed.
Walter!
What did I say?
Can I go upstairs?
Timmy, please, eat something.
He doesn't want to, Betty. Go ahead, Tim. I'll come up and talk to you later.
What are you going to say to him?
What he wants to hear. That what he hears on TV isn't true. That Kennedy wouldn't let it happen.
You believe that?
If I didn't, I'd be helping your father stock the basement. Timmy, may I come in? Timmy?
Timmy, what are you doing?
Bombs? Is it bombs?
No. Bombs, it's just... Yeah. It's thunder. Yeah, it's thunder.
Mr. Nathan. Mr. Nathan.
Yes. Yes, Mrs. Birstecker?
Excuse me, I just wondered, is the Haley house insulated?
No, not at all.
How should I word the ad?
Just say it's airy. We'll try and sell it before November.
Yes, sir. I'll put a photo in, too. It's much more attractive from the outside.
Good. Good idea. I've got an appointment, Mrs. B. I'll be out for a couple of hours. You man the fort, eh?
Yes, Mr. Nathan.
You look kind of beat, Walt. If you don't mind my saying. Berlin. God, as if there wasn't enough to get drunk about before the blasted bomb. Now you gotta be crazy to stay sober. Sometimes I think that's how the Russians really plan to knock us off. Sclerosis of the liver.
I wouldn't know.
But here's the real joke, Walt. Them Russians, their government never tells them a damn thing. They probably think Hitler's still in the bunker. I'll tell you one thing they're not doing. They're not sitting around half-crocked waiting for the flash like we are. Christ. I wonder what the hell good it does us to know every goddamn thing that goes on in this world. I bet if we pull the plug on the TV, we'd be as happy as clams, huh? Anyway, why should we worry? Who cares what the damn bomb can do? It'll be all over in 30 minutes anyway. It's just like booze, only quicker.
Yeah.
I'm building a fallout shelter, Walt.
What?
Radiation and fire, Walt. That's what'll kill you. The only place you got a chance is underground.
I thought you weren't going to worry about that kind of thing.
Who's worrying? I'm doing something, buddy. Christ, Rockefeller has one. Kennedy has one, for God's sake. Hey, look, I'll tell you. I may not have as much money as those guys, but I got just as much right to live. Hey, look, Walt, we're friends. This is just between us, huh? I mean, there's no reason why everybody should know about it.
No. I understand. I understand.
I wish I could take everybody in town, but... Well, I'll bet Rockefeller has a lock on his door. Look, Walt, read this. It doesn't tell you what the bomb can do. It tells you what you can do. Like Kennedy says, we gotta take steps to protect ourselves.
Excuse me, Father Reilly.
Oh, hello, George.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, Father.
No. I'm just counseling an old friend. Walter Nathan, George Bellows.
Hi.
How's the family,
Very
George?
good, Father. Very good.
Think about it, Walt.
How have you been doing?
Oh, good to see you. You're looking great.
How you doing?
Hope the family's all right.
Oh, they're really very nice.
Making a lot of money.
Well, I try my best.
President, I believe recently you spoke to a group of New Jersey publishers about your forthcoming plan involving fallout shelters that might be quite economical. In this general range of interest, sir, do you have personally fallout shelters in any of the residences that you frequently use? I'm thinking particularly of your house in Hyannis, or in Middleburg, or in Palm Beach, or at Newport.
Well, they're not all my residents, I'm sorry to say, but I will say that I would say that they're naturally provisions for the protection of those in presidency and in the Joint Chiefs of Staff and others who would have to maintain responsibility in case of a military action. Though, of course, there's no sure answer for anybody. Obviously, you cannot build a shelter in the accepted sense of the word for the kind of money which we have talked about, but we can provide directions whereby a family can take steps to protect themselves on a minimum basis and give them, members of the family, some hope that if they're out of the blast area, they could survive the fallout.
scare you.
Not at all.
I mean, you kind of scared me, too. Nobody ever comes down here except the janitor, and I can tell you're not the janitor. Who are you? Do you work here?
No, I was just passing by and I saw the sign and I realized that I'd never even seen a fallout shelter before, so I just walked in. I hope it's all right.
Oh, fine with me. Well, what do you think?
Looks like a basement.
Well, that's because it is a basement.
Do you work here?
No, not here. I work on the 5th floor of the county assessor's office. I just spend my lunch hours here. It's so quiet, you know. Kind of peaceful.
That's rather ironic, finding peace in a fallout shelter.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that.
You eat these things?
Oh, God, no. I tried one once. It tasted like a dog biscuit.
Oh.
Do you work here in town?
Yes, Bowings and Merrill. I'm an account assistant, sort of a glorified secretary.
Oh, I'm a secretary, too, only I'm not glorified. There are no chairs here.
What?
No chairs. Didn't you notice? I mean, if I designed a fallout shelter, I'd certainly put in chairs.
Seems logical. How many people does this place hold?
300. That's what the sign says.
300? Well, there must be 1,000 people working in this building alone. How do they expect to fit them all in?
I assume that they plan a weekend attack.
This is ridiculous. There must be 30,000 people living in this section of town. In case of an attack, what do they expect them to do? Stick their heads in the sidewalk?
Well, if they do attack, I just hope they do it on my lunch hour. At least I'll have a good seat.
I wish I had your sense of humor about it.
Well, you don't sound like much of an optimist.
Optimists don't live at ground zero.
Do you really think that they're going to push the button?
Christ, I hope not. Not over this Berlin thing. I never thought we'd have to fight over Berlin again.
You fought in Berlin?
Oh, well, no. My father-in-law did, though, and he said that the Russians were shooting and burning everything in sight. It was as if they wanted to wipe every living thing off the face of the earth. The Nazis were so scared they were begging our side to take them prisoner.
You scared of the Russians?
No, it's the bomb that scares me. I mean, they wouldn't dare attack us if it weren't for that bomb. It's like bug spray. Everything's dead by remote control. How do you fight something like that?
Scares me, too.
And the worst part of it is, the stupidest thing about it is that it's just a machine. You can't reason with it, you can't bargain with it, you can't even surrender to it. Once the button's pushed, it's too late. It's too late to run.
Lucy.
Oh, Walter.
You know, you could always run here, Walter. I'd save you a place.
I just might take you up on that, Lucy.
Have a chip, Walter.
Dinner's ready, boys.
I'm glad to see you're eating again, Timmy.
You read all during breakfast. You come home at night and fall asleep in front of the TV. Must you read during dinner, too?
Yes, dear.
Walter! Put that book away or eat at a restaurant.
Oh, I'm sorry, Betty. I just got this booklet the other day. Ernie gave it to me.
I thought you were an agnostic.
It's not religious. It's about fallout shelters.
What about fallout shelters?
How to build them.
I thought organized religion was against the concept of private shelters.
I don't know about organized religion, but Ernie's all for it. Says God wants us to protect ourselves.
Well, I think that anyone who builds himself a shelter will be disappointed if there isn't a war.
You have to face things as they are, Betty. Hoping for peace isn't going to have any effect on Khrushchev.
Walter.
I'm sorry, but I just can't sit back and pretend like nothing's happening. Timmy knows what I'm talking about. We can stop worrying and start doing something.
You sound just like my father.
Your father isn't always wrong, Betty.
But you said yourself he was wasting his time stocking the basement.
The basement, yes. But I'm not talking about a basement. Look at this. It's 3 feet underground, holds 4 people for 3 weeks, and doubles as a sun deck.
You're not thinking of building one of those things, are you?
Yes, I'm considering it.
The house we live in won't be paid for until 1985. You're going to spend a couple $1,000s we don't have to build something we'll never use?
One finger on a button, Betty. That's all it takes, and it's World War III. Suppose Khrushchev's wife won't put out, and he gets smashed. It's a known fact he drinks like a fish. And he says, what the hell, let's do it. And he pushes the button and blee! Hoping for peace and reason won't help when all it takes is one screwball, power-hungry idiot to turn the whole world into a parking lot. Besides, it'll only cost $1,200 if I do the carpentry myself.
We don't have $1,200.
So we'll borrow it. What's worth more, your family's life or pinching a few extra pennies?
That's not exactly the choice I see.
May I be excused?
Yes, Timmy. Now see what you've done with your war talk.
The truth never hurt anyone, Betty. These days, ignorance can get you killed. God was right. We have to protect ourselves. If we don't, who will?
You know what a fallout shelter is, Walter? It's a coffin. And I'm not burying myself alive. If you're that frightened, why don't you move to Australia?
I'm going for a walk.
It's 8,000 miles due south. And take your book with you.
Arrivederci, sucker!
You're late, Walt.
Sorry.
Where's the eats? Today's your turn.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, Lucy.
You can't eat sorry, Walt.
Have a doggy biscuit.
Boy, what'd you do? Sleep on a tack?
No, just another one-sided debate.
Oh. Look, why don't you talk to your wife about the way you feel like you do with me?
It's different with you, Lucy. You understand the way things are. I tried to tell Betty about the shelter, but all she thinks of is the cost.
She just doesn't understand how much it means to you, Walt.
She called it a coffin. You believe that? I'd rather be in a coffin when the bombs dropped into my living room, I can tell you that.
Voila!
Where'd you get that?
Well, I was saving it for World War III, but any occasion will do.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Oh, I think you'd probably talk to yourself a lot.
I guess maybe I would. I can't think of what to toast to. Ah. To a most unusual woman.
You're pretty strange yourself, Walt.
This is a civil defense test to try out the operation of tunnel rat.
home, Betty.
It's 6 o'clock, Walter. Where have you been?
I was just doing a little window shopping. Guess I lost track of the time.
I wish you'd phone when you're going to be late. Walter, look at that suit.
Huh?
You look as if you'd been rolling around in somebody's basement.
Oh. What do you mean?
How do you get your clothes so dirty?
Oh, I was just cleaning out the storeroom. They treat me like a janitor in that office.
You should wear older clothes for that.
Shh. Don't shush your mother when she's nagging Daddy, Tim.
Don't let me annoy you, Walter. Heaven knows I try to be a good slave.
Daddy, how's it coming?
Shh. We don't want Mommy to hear, do we?
Sorry, can I see it? Is it done?
Easy, easy. You'll see it soon enough. Now remember, this is a big surprise for Mommy. So it's just between us guys, right?
Right. What's this?
That's the air intake. Everything's underground, so we have to pull in our air from the outside.
Wow, what do you suck it in with?
With a pump. We crank it like a blacksmith.
I mean, all you can see is the chimney?
That's right. Everything else is underground.
The bombs don't get us down here, huh, Dad?
Nope. We won't have to worry. Whatever happens, the Nathans will be snug as bugs. Snug as bugs.
Walter. The alarm, Walter. Walter?
Walter. Walter.
Huh?
What are you doing? Where have you been?
Oh, I was just working on a property. I'll just show it to a customer tomorrow.
You shouldn't have to do that kind of work. They should hire someone to do repairs.
I'll tell them about that tomorrow, dear.
You mean today? It's 7:45.
7:45?
If anyone calls, tell them the car wouldn't start.
Mr. Nathan, is that office space in the banker's building? Mr. Nathan. Never mind.
Yes, sir. I can't blame you there, sir. The fewer people know about it, the less you have to worry about it, right? Okay, pal. We'll be there.
Hello, Walter.
I didn't mean to wake you.
I wasn't asleep. Where were you, Walter?
I told you I'd be late.
You said you'd be at the office.
What are you, checking up on me? I can't be a couple of hours late without the interrogation.
Just asking.
Sometimes people are just late, that's all. It happens.
Yeah.
What am I, 12 years old?
You're my husband.
Just try to understand me. Well, Betty, this is it.
What? I don't see anything.
It's our shelter, Betty.
Daddy, I want to go in. Can we go in now?
This is where you've been.
I wanted it to be a surprise.
Daddy!
You mean all this time you've been building a fallout shelter?
Surprise?
I thought we had discussed this, Walter.
Money's not a problem if that's what you're worried about. Uncle Harry let me use the land for nothing. I said he could use the place, but I think he wants to build one closer to where he lives.
Well, I'm glad you and Harry discussed the whole thing out. Did he pay for this thing, too?
Money is no problem. I just extended our mortgage a little bit.
You took out a second mortgage on our home for this hole in the ground?
You haven't even seen it yet, Betty. It's very comfortable.
I don't care if you buried a Cadillac. I don't want to see it. How dare you remortgage our home?
All right. I should have told you. I would have told you, except I knew you'd react just the way you reacted.
How am I supposed to react? You're paranoid, Walter. You're completely paranoid.
And you're ignorant of the facts, Betty. Rockefeller has a shelter. Is he paranoid?
We can afford one. We can't. This isn't what I want for this family, Walter.
Daddy!
Look, Betty, I don't care about the money. This is our security. I just want to save our family. Instead of worrying, we've done something.
You've done something. You've spent all our money. You've lied to me. You've turned your S-O-N into a neurotic. I don't know if they're going to drop the bomb or not, Walter. I hope and pray they don't. But if they do, I can't see how anyone would want to live in a world like that.
No, I want to go.
This is my family too, Betty, and I think my son should have the right to make up his own mind.
Stop it, Walter! Stop it! Stop!
And I trust that in the interest of both the Cuban people and the Soviet technicians at the sites, the hazards to all concerned of continuing this threat will be recognized. Third, it shall be the policy of this nation to regard any nuclear missile launched from Cuba against any nation in the Western Hemisphere as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response upon the Soviet Union. Fourth, as a necessary forced our base evacuated and ordered additional military units to be.
My God, they're practically in Florida.
Turn on the lights, Walt. I can't see a thing. Wow. You know, it really is like a spaceship or something. You even remembered the chairs.
Well, you know, it is, practically. Someday when we walk out of here, we may not even recognize the planet we're on.
Walter, nothing's happened yet. Khrushchev didn't want to fight over Berlin. Why would he want to fight over Cuba?
Ever seen a cornered animal? They don't usually negotiate.
Doesn't it depend on how big the corner is?
You're beginning to sound like Betty.
Does that mean that you've been talking to her?
What are you, a marriage counselor or something? Let's change the subject. What about the place? What do you think of it?
Well, it's a fallout shelter.
It's survival, Lucy. For us.
What about your wife, Walter?
I thought we'd change the subject. Look, she made her decision. I gave up trying to argue with her a long time ago.
But shouldn't... I mean, look, if there is a war, shouldn't you be with your family?
What am I supposed to do? Kidnap them? When they drop the bomb, Lucy, things are not going to be the same. Things like families and countries aren't going to mean a thing.
And why survive? What would anyone have to live for?
Themselves. Their lives. Our lives. I didn't build those missiles, Lucy, and I won't be the one to push the button. I just want to survive it, that's all. If that makes me selfish, then I guess I'm pretty damn selfish, and so are a lot of other people.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to...
Want to live? That doesn't sound like you at all, Lucy.
I thought I knew, Walter. I mean, it seemed like such an easy decision, just to survive. I don't want to see another planet when I open that hatch. I like this planet.
Lucy.
Look, no, Walter. Look, I really have to go. I've got to go.
I thought we understood each other, Lucy.
I don't know, Walter. I don't want to give up. You've given up.
Given up? All those people walking around up there, the ones that jump every time they hear a fire whistle, the ones that put their trust in Khrushchev's better nature, they're the ones that have given up. At least I have enough sense to face reality.
Look, I can't tell you what to do, Walter. I only know that I don't belong here.
Lucy. Lucy, you live 3 miles from here.
I'll walk. I'll hitchhike.
Lucy. This is stupid. I'll drive you.
I'll walk.
Lucy.
Lucy? Lucy? Lucy, this is stupid. I'll drive you.
I'll walk. I want to walk.
All right, Lucy. Don't try to come back when there's an attack. You hear me, Lucy? You're gonna be...
Eat your peas, Timmy.
When's Daddy coming home?
I don't know. It's up to him. Eventually, he'll realize he's made a mistake. He just needs time to think.
Then things will be just like they were before, huh?
Yes. Probably.
Premier Khrushchev said, "America, we will bury you." Don't silence the voice of freedom. Write radio for...
Now with chlorophyll.
Waxy buildup. Make your...
Another historic highlight in the aerospace age.
On February 6, 1959, after a brief but successful development program, a Titan intercontinental ballistic missile was launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida for the first time. This 90-foot, 110-ton missile was tested over a limited range of about 300 miles. The second of its two stages was purposely inactive and contained several thousand gallons of water instead of fuel. The Titan is a second-generation, surface-to-surface, two-stage, liquid-fueled missile that can launch a nuclear warhead over 8,000 miles. The Titan ICBM...
Behold, Sahib, the lost city of Punjab.
It's amazing. Why, the roofs on those buildings are solid gold.
It is so. Precious metals flow like the light of Take my hand.
Some folks like to sigh, some folks do, some folks do, some folks long to die, but that's not me nor you. Long live the merry, merry heart that laughs by night and day, like the queen of mirth, no matter what some folks say. Some folks scrimp and save, some folks do, to buy themselves a grave, but that's not me nor you. Long live the merry, merry heart that laughs by night and day, like the queen of mirth, no matter what some folks say.